Now on CoastTV News.
Deadly floods and dangerous heat. A storm system threatens even more extreme weather across the country. Campaign signs popping up in Rehoboth Beach. We introduce you to your city commissioner candidates.
And we have active flash flood warnings across 6 counties. We have some heavy rain pushing over the area. We'll track it, and we'll talk about some hot weather into our Sunday before a big cool down comes our way.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Millions of people are facing severe weather threats tonight. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. I'm Emma Aiken. We begin tonight with a soggy Saturday here on Delmarva and stormy weather across the country. As a storm system marches across the United States, NBC's Maggie Vespa is tracking it all.
In Iowa, tornado sirens pierce through raging storms as floodwaters rise around frantic drivers in Illinois. A monster storm system charging across America's midsection tonight with millions in the path of possible hail, damaging winds, even tornadoes. From Kansas City down through Jacksonville, heavy humidity rocketing heat index values well into the triple digits. Amid these severe systems, a growing string of destructive, at times deadly flash floods. Just yesterday, raging floodwaters swallowed part of southwest Virginia, ripping up roads and surrounding homes. Crews rushing in to rescue stranded residents. Oh no! This after the historic flooding earlier this month in New Mexico and in Texas, where more than 130 people died. Tonight, at least 100 others are still missing. Experts say the mounting man-made climate crisis is fueling stronger, more dangerous floods than ever before.
When people say this has never happened before, they're talking about a climate that doesn't exist anymore. And so people have to realize that things that have never happened before can happen. And they really need to keep an eye out on the situation and kind of project forward. If the water gets higher after every rain event, that's a warning.
And now we take a live look into Dover. Our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono, joins us. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Emma. And I'll tell you what, we've had some heavy rain over the last hour and a half, and that has prompted a flash flood warning for Seaford, Branchview, Woodland, Bryan Park, Concord. This runs through about 2:15 a.m. Radar estimates over 5.5 inches of rain has fallen over the last hour. Craig's Mill, right on Butler Branch Road, Woodland Drive there through Pennsylvania Avenue. There's Route 20 going west to east, but thankfully the rain has weakened and it's beginning to lift to the northeast, and you can see some heavier rain beginning to build into Milford through Georgetown, Gum Crossroads, and then we can see heavier rain extending from Fenwick Island all the way down through Ocean City. A lot of lightning with this, non-severe, but still seeing some gusts upwards of 40-45 miles an hour as this rain continues pushing off to the northeast. Impressive rainfall totals today, to say the least, and a lot of these rainfall totals were picked up over the last hour and a half. Berlin, Maryland, 2 3/4. Cambridge, 2.31 inches. Seaford, over 2 inches. Harrington had some rain there at the fair, 1.43 inches, and just about 14/10, but we're going to add to that total in Georgetown as that heavy rain is pushing over at the moment. As we go into our Sunday, we're going to be hot, humid with another threat of some isolated storms through the afternoon, and then we're going to be feeling really, really nice as we go into the start of the week. Plenty of sunshine, and more importantly, a dip in the humidity levels, and that's going to feel real good coming up early next week. For now, we'll send things back over to Emma.
Thank you, Chris. It's quite the busy weekend in Kent County with the Delaware State Fair and Nascar weekend happening at the same time. The State Fair continues until July 26th at the fairgrounds in Harrington. This year's theme, Kick Up Some Fun. There will be food, games, live music, agriculture, and parking is free. On your screen now is some video from the State Fair earlier this evening. You can see the rain just coming down there in Harrington. Now to Rehoboth Beach, where 3 people are in the running for 2 seats on the Board of Commissioners. They all participated in a forum this morning at Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. Suzanne Stewart is a lawyer, a financial advisor, and serves on the city's Planning Commission. Jeffrey Good is an economist, and Chris Galanti is an urban planner and community advocate. Here is what the candidates say they want you to know.
My commitment to voters is I will be respectful, I will do my homework, so I'll make informed votes, and I'll work hard to understand what people want and have it reflected in our agenda.
I'm the only one running who will focus on fiscal sanity of the city. I believe we're really headed into the wrong direction.
I bring a data-based approach to decision making. I like to find commonality with my colleagues and work collaboratively on solution and problem solving, and that's the type of perspective that I'll bring.
Election Day is August 9th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Rehoboth Beach Convention Center. Now to some traffic news. Oak Orchard drivers, part of Chief Road, will be closed due to utility work and the installation of new pipe connections. The agency says the work will begin Monday, July 28th through Thursday, July 31st. That's weather permitting, and detours will be in place. There's also road closures coming to Milford this week. DelDOT says Big Stone Beach Road will be closed for the replacement of a crossroad pipe between Torbert Road and Gobbler Lane. That work starts this Wednesday and is expected to end on Friday. But good news for Milton drivers, Cave Neck Road has reopened about a month ahead of schedule. The road had been closed between Diamond Farm Road and Hudson Road since mid-May for bridge repairs. We reached out to DelDOT to see if the road is reopened for good or if more work is needed. We have not yet heard back. Over in Wicomico County, the rain held off this afternoon for a fishing competition. Today, anglers casted their lines in the Nanticoke River in Sharptown for Salisbury University's annual invasive fishing derby. The derby targets blue catfish and Chesapeake channa, which prey on striped bass and blue crab populations. Dr. Noah Bressman with SU says in addition to some competitive fun, his lab will be using some of the fish caught today for research.
And we can get tissue samples, data, whatever we need from them at this event in front of everybody to kind of show science is accessible. And so this event helps support the research in my lab as well as research of our collaborators like USGS is here, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources.
There were more than $1,000 in prizes for those fishing today there in Salisbury. Well, we are about 14 hours away from the biggest sporting event on Delmarva. As Coast TV's Matt Pensick shows us, a NASCAR controversy that started last week in California has made its way to Dover.
For the NASCAR Cup Saturday schedule, Rain was able to get a win against the Monster Mile. Whether it cooled down a potential situation between the driver of the 21 car Josh Berry and the 77's Carson Hocevar remains unclear. Last Sunday at Sonoma, Berry tagged Hocevar. Since then, Berry says he's tried to apologize. Hocevar has not taken the call that he has had to make himself several times in his career.
I don't like the whole call on Monday and have to apologize and go through the pony show of, I think we all go racing, we go to limits, we do what's best for us, and if we do all that, I think we're a lot better off.
Everybody handles things differently, on those situations, right? So, obviously the contact at the end of that race opens the door for retaliation, and that's if he decides to act on that, that's I gave him that opportunity.
The rain means two-time Dover winner Chase Elliott is on the pole for Sunday's race, though not under ideal conditions.
I do feel like it is a little bit of a risk, kind of being out front and if you are able to get through 1 and 2 well and get clear when you have clean air like that, you're kind of in the best position to make the most lap time.
Saturday's rainout means no Cup practice, no Cup qualifying. When these drivers hit the track on Sunday, that'll be the first time they experience the concrete surface of the Monster Mile this year. They're going to have to rely on data and past experience in order to get one driver into victory lane. From the Dover International Speedway, I'm Matt Pensick, Coast TV News.
The start of the 400-mile race at Dover Motor Speedway is scheduled for just after 2 p.m. on Sunday. A very special occasion today. Raymond Sproul celebrated his 100th birthday. Raymond is a U.S. Navy veteran. The festivities took place today at American Legion Post 28 in Millsboro. All of his accolades were on display along with some cake. He was surrounded by family and friends. And on his special day, he offered some advice to younger generations.
Don't wipe out the history of your ancestors. Learn from your ancestors. I'm hard in genealogy.
Raymond asked that we give a special shout out to the VA in Georgetown. He says, "Thank you for taking such good care of him." We are only halfway through summer, but just like that, the big Ferris wheel near the Ocean City Inlet is gone. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay shows us why the iconic Ferris wheel left so soon and what changes you could see next summer.
Annie Fowler and her husband came down just in time to say goodbye to the Ferris wheel they were looking forward to hopping on.
We didn't get a chance to get on it, but we did get to see it from up the boardwalk.
The big Ferris wheel near the Ocean City Inlet next to the Trimper Rides was put up this April, and now it's already being taken down and shipped to the Wisconsin State Fair, leaving only one Ferris wheel in town for the rest of the summer. According to Michael Wood, one of the co-owners of the Ferris wheel, he says he had no choice but to take it down and move it to the next location.
We're taking it down because those contracts were in existence and they were long-term contracts prior to it ever coming to Ocean City.
But plans for next year are looking bright for people wanting this Ferris wheel to stay longer. With great success in Ocean City, Wood and his team bought a second Ferris wheel and hopes to leave one of them in town all summer long.
With any luck, we will negotiate a deal to leave it here from opening through Labor Day and then take it down at the end of the season like many other amusement rides are.
Fowler hopes the deal is made and would love to take a trip on the Ferris wheel. Although nothing is set in stone just yet, people we spoke with along the boardwalk hopes to see a Ferris wheel there next year all summer long. I'm Kevin Zapay in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
We are just getting started. Trump tariffs, why the cost of building electric vehicles in the U.S. could be going way up.
And we have some heavy rain that continues to push through Delmarva. That will be ending through the overnight sunshine. Hot for our Sunday with even more storms. And then a breath of fresh air arrives early next week. We'll talk more about that here in minutes.
Coming up, breaking news and tragedies by the water. If you missed any of our stories this week, your Week in Review is coming up in just 60 seconds. From dredging in Ocean City to a jump in jellyfish on the beaches, there was a lot going on this week here on the coast. Charlie Sakaitis has a look at our Week in Review.
Monday, the search for a missing swimmer in Rehoboth Beach was called off. That swimmer would eventually be identified as 27-year-old Gregory Keritu of Kenya. His body was found in the ocean off Cape Henlopen State Park later in the week. Tuesday, another man drowned after walking into the Broadkill River near Oyster Rocks Road. 18-year-old Yorch Niz Chalil's body would be later recovered from the Delaware Bay. According to Delaware State Police, he had been crabbing with family when he entered the river up to his neck, then began calling for help. Family members tried to rescue him, but could not reach him. Wednesday, emergency dredging officially started in Ocean City. The Merritt boat taking material from the channel and shooting it around 85 feet away, all in an effort to clear out the channel for boaters to navigate the area more easily. Thursday, the heat beating down on Delmarva, cooking and baking people and pets alike, temperatures feeling like they were north of 100 degrees. Friday, Coast TV reported on jellyfish that have been showing up in big numbers up and down the coast this year. Already this summer in Lewis, more than double the jellyfish stings have been reported when compared to all of last summer. That information comes from the Lewis Beach Patrol. The patrol says they use a mixture of vinegar and water to help neutralize the burn. For your Week in Review, I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
Coming up, oil options. Which types of the common cooking ingredient you should use and why?
And heading out to brunch tomorrow morning, will be dry, but will be steamy. Temperatures rising into the 80s, eventually topping out in the low 90s. We could see some afternoon storms. We'll talk more about that and track the current storms moving through the area when Coast TV News at 11 continues. Well, it was a gloomy, tropical-like day with scattered downpours, and we're going out with a bang here this evening with some heavy rain across the area. Our night cut short in Ocean City thanks to some heavy rain. We're at 77 right now, 73-degree dew point, so it is still incredibly humid out there. We do still have that active flash flood warning for western Sussex County through Seaford, Woodland, Branchview. We've had reports of over 5 inches of rain in the last hour, so this continues until 2:15. Now, the good news is the rain has since weakened, and is now lifting to the northeast. You can see some heavier rain just pushing off the coast there, Slaughter Beach, just to the east of Milford, and some light to moderate rain extending down from Lewis through Bethany. And the heaviest rain right now beginning to push off the coast from Fenwick Island down through Ocean City, non-severe, and we are just seeing just some steadier rain through the rest of the peninsula. We have a warm front lifting northward, a few scattered showers. These may pass through towards the overnight and into the early part of your Sunday, but this cold front up to the north, that's sinking southward, and that is going to help finally begin to lower the humidity a bit as we head into the start of next week. Temperatures right now are at 79 in Rehoboth, 78 in Long Neck, 78 Georgetown, 74 Seaford, and we are at 75 in Milford. These dew points are ridiculous. Look at this, 80-degree dew point in Millsboro. We were seeing a 75-degree dew point in Bethany Beach, 77-degree dew point in Rehoboth. Very tropical out there. So Futurecast over the next few hours sees that rain weakening as it pushes off to the coast, not expecting any severe storms or any flash flooding through the overnight. We're pretty dry into early Sunday. Could see some drizzle, some areas of fog develop, and then we'll see partly sunny skies through the afternoon. So rain chances pretty much shut off completely after tomorrow night. We'll see an isolated storm chance tomorrow, and then we settle into a pretty nice dry period through the start and middle part of next week. So if you're heading out to the race tomorrow, I think we're going to be primarily dry. Can't rule out an isolated storm after about 4 o'clock, but temperatures getting up to around 90. Along the coast, another hot, steamy day under partly sunny skies. 88 Rehoboth, 92 Dewey, 92 in Ocean City. Low risk of rip currents. Now, heat indices tomorrow generally between about 98 to 103 ahead of those storms. Now, the storm's not as widespread as tonight. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has that marginal risk, 1 out of 5 for the threat of a damaging wind or the threat of hail. Now, you see a few isolated storms pushing into Salisbury around 4:30 tomorrow, and then another wave coming through after about 6, pushing towards the coast, and then we begin to dry out. Could see a little drizzle early Monday morning, but we do see relief as far as the humidity goes. Once that cold front comes through, we are going to see some drier air. So it's going to feel really good, especially by Tuesday and Wednesday, as that warm, cool, drier air is filtering in from the north. So a hot day in Chickatinga on Sunday, but you see temperatures falling into the low 80s by Tuesday. As we make our way into Ocean City, we're down to 77 with sunshine in Ocean City on Tuesday, making our way up through Lewis, 83, mostly sunny skies Monday through Tuesday, and you're really going to feel that humidity begin to drop, especially as we get into Monday afternoon. 74 as the storms end, some areas of fog, 93 tomorrow with an isolated thunderstorm. We're at 85, mostly sunny. Beautiful. The humidity levels drop into Tuesday. Look at Tuesday, 81, and that is with plenty of sunshine. And then it's short-lived because humidity and temperatures begin to rise by the end of the week. Emma.
Thank you, Chris. Well, there's olive oil, seed oil, vegetable oil, and beef tallow. All can be used to cook foods, but which is the healthiest? In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a health expert about how to figure out the right cooking oil for you.
Animal fats and globs of butter. That's how food traditionally has been cooked over generations. That's until these methods were linked to heart disease.
I think that's what really prompted the desire and the need to find other ways of cooking foods.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says on top of that, there's some concern about seed oils like canola oil or grapeseed oil. Some health experts like the American Heart Association say there's no reason to avoid them, while others believe seed oils are overly processed and may promote inflammation.
And then when you cook these things, especially at high temperatures, you may be releasing other chemicals. So it's really that pro-inflammatory state that people are most concerned about.
But in a sea of different cooking oils, figuring out which is right for you can be hard. Gupta says it'll depend on your risks. For example, if you have heart disease in your family history, you'll want to limit saturated fat in your diet. And he says to do your homework.
With regard to seed oils, though, I think plant-based oils, some are going to be better than others. Olive oil and avocado oil are going to have a better track record, for example. But even if you're looking at some of the seed-based oils specifically, canola oil probably going to be better than corn oil, for example.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Heart Association says when shopping for healthy oils, choose those with less than 4 grams of saturated fat per tablespoon. After the break here on CoastTV News at 11, testimony related to Jeffrey Epstein, what the president is now calling for. President Donald Trump is now calling on the DOJ to release all grand jury testimony related to Jeffrey Epstein. The announcement on Truth Social is a shift from the president's post on Thursday, where he called on Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony related to Epstein. It's still unclear what's in that material or whether the judge will even allow it to be released. And the cost of building electric vehicles in the U.S. could be going way up. The Commerce Department is placing a 93.5% tariff on Chinese graphite. That's an item needed for building EVs. This decision to place a fee on Beijing was applauded by U.S. graphite producers, who claim Chinese producers have dominated the market and have prevented American companies from becoming established. Analysts say this move will escalate the trade-related tensions between the U.S. and China. And after the break here on Coast TV News at 11, we'll take a live look into Ocean City, and we have a final check on your forecast. Coast TV News continues. Upgrades are coming to the Salisbury Zoo. Officials say one of the more notable improvements includes building a new education facility. The zoo's wildlife ambassador animals are expected to be housed there. Updates will also be made to several animal habitats. They say many of the habitats were built in the 1970s and 80s and are overdue for improvements. They say these upgrades will help the Salisbury Zoo move closer to gaining accreditation by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums.
Well, feeling quite tropical out there this evening. We've had some heavy rain, and we've had some heavy rain that pushed through Salisbury about an hour ago. We're at 75 degrees, 74-degree dew point. So we'll continue to see the showers at least through a part of the overnight, and then we should see some fog develop, I think, across a good bit of the area. Now, so you can see some steadier rain extending from Georgetown, the heavier rain pushing just to the east of Milford, and just some steadier light rain extending from Lewis down through Ocean City. We had a heavy round of rain that pushed through Ocean City, all non-severe, and the severe threat and flash flooding threat has certainly come to an end. Now, as we go into tomorrow, we're at 88 along the coast, another hot, steamy day, 91 through the inland and eastern shore. We are watching for a threat of some isolated gusty thunderstorms as we push into the late part of the afternoon through the early evening hours. You can get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone, and your 10-day forecast shows 93 for Sunday, and then there is that drop in humidity. It's going to feel really good Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we begin to see those temperatures and humidity creep up by the end of the week, with temperatures in the mid-90s by Friday. Emma.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Saturday Night Live starts right now. Have a great night.